Good to see you. This is our evening time of togetherness. And let's talk about what's coming up tomorrow in the weather forecast. So first of all, the moon is in Taurus, which is a nice place for the moon to be. Nice and stable. And it has a really good relationship with Venus and Jupiter, which are trine. Venus was ruling the moon. So it's ruling the attitude of the day. It's ruling the mood of the day. And what is that mood? Easy to get along with, beneficial, appreciative. Venus, Jupiter together, they're really good friends. They like each other. Hey, Golden Rainbow. And it's a good day when they are in concert with each other. Sometimes they go to a rock concert and it's a little bit different. And then we have sometimes excess and too much of a good thing. But when Venus and Jupiter are trine, these are days where there's a lot of social harmony. Well, as much as there can be with these outer planet transits that we've got going on. Personally, we thrive on cooperation, similar values, finding what we can agree on. These are days where we don't focus as much on disagreements or trying to one-up each other. These are nice, nice times where we value niceness and the efforts that it takes to enjoy ourselves. Efforts, yeah. We also have a nice sextile between Mars and Chiron, which makes it easier for us to put our energy and our initiative into wholeness, healing, getting our poop in a scoop. It makes it easier for us to make progress regarding aggression. Being pushy, if we have had a history of that. Maybe misusing our anger or common instances of impatience. It's easy to gain forgiveness when we have a sextile between Mars and Chiron, because it soothes the ego. It soothes the knee-jerk reactions that typically we can have, and it enhances the likelihood that we will vibe together instead of try to be first or soothe our ego. So I guess what is it? It's the it's like a willing vulnerability that comes in. And it makes people trust us more. And we can think the opposite, especially if we've got a strong Mars. We can think the opposite, that if we're seen as weak or as less or not first or not powerful, then we will be, judged somehow or not chosen or made fun of, or we won't have the best outcome. But when we have these sextiles between Mars and Chiron, it reminds us that it's actually our willingness to, admit our weaknesses and our foibles and to try to find commonality with others. That's what actually makes us approachable, lovable. So we disarm tomorrow. And it helps other people to get closer to us. It enhances vulnerability. Any good news for Libras? Um, hmm. Yeah, actually, the transits tomorrow, they don't actually directly relate in a super easy way to air signs, but hmm. There isn't a lot going on other than the opposition from Saturn to Neptune right now. That's the big thing. That's in Aries. That's opposing everything in Libra. And so that's actually a point of stress or rebalancing right there. So the good news is Saturn's going to put you to work and looking at how you have or have not had success in the individuation process. And Saturn is going to spiritualize everything that it touches and sometimes break it down. Call me. That exalted Venus trine Jupiter feels lovely. Very watery time. Yep. And the Saturn Neptune opposite. Uh-huh. Yeah, Venus is enjoying herself in Pisces right now. I was talking about that earlier with one of my apprentices. And she makes jewelry, and she was showing us her latest Pisces creations, which are absolutely beautiful. She's going to send some to me. I will show them to you. I cannot wait to receive them. I love astrology trinkets, astrology jewelry, astrology accessories. And she's good at it. She's really got an eye. And yeah, we were talking about the qualities of Venus and Pisces. It's all-encompassing nature. Pisces is everything. It's all of the signs pancaked into one. And so it's extra compassionate in that sign. Venus can actually be extremely selfish and self-oriented. But in Pisces, it's a higher love, an all-encompassing love that we're really aspiring to. So it is a forgiving, extremely watery, emotional aspect where it can make it easier, to forget how we've been hurt. And that combined with that really good aspect from Mars to Chiron and the moon in a really good sign makes for a pretty darn good day where a lot of us could reconnect. We've had a lot of broken bonds, particularly socially, over the past 10, 12 years. And on these days where we have togetherness and community, cooperation as the priority, it can help us to, even do some minor repairs that can extend out over the course of the next 7 to 14 years to bring us back into alignment. Hey, Rogue, I haven't seen you in a while. What's up? Danielle, any weight loss transits coming up? That is dependent on your own natal chart. Usually that's going to be Saturn in an aspect to the Sun, to Venus, or to the Ascendant. Usually to Sun or to Ascendant, especially the hard transits. Oh, you missed me yesterday. I'm here almost every night at 6 p.m. unless I got something going on or I'm just too tired. But I like checking in with you guys. So I'm usually here, at least while we've got these really crunchy transits going on. It's good for all of us to have regularity. It's funny, Neptune is in the sign of the self. The sun's in the sign of the all. An ironic joke to look inward for a few days there. Yeah. Pacific time. Yeah, bubbles. Oh, you are so welcome, Uranian. Run away. That's a pretty significant conjunction to deal with, Sun, Saturn. Because we have heat and we have cold right next to each other. Sun, Pluto's the same way. Yeah, Sun, Saturn, that takes a while for us to break through our shell, our own shell. Oh, hi, Ham. Oh, Ireland. Fabulous. That's where my people come from. We've got the hair and sometimes the temper to match. Mars in the first house, although I have gotten significantly better. Significantly better. What does it mean when Saturn transit conjuncts my North Node in the 10th house? That puts you to work. Saturn, whatever it touches, whatever house it goes through, whatever house it's in, that's the house that we're working on. When it's in the 10th house, Saturn specifically puts us to work. Things related to status, achievement. And when it's at the North Node, your good work is your dharmic purpose. It is reminding you that there's more to life than just material, the appearance of things and material gain. A lot of us really get connected with our purpose and our mission that we are going to be engaged in for the next 9 years. Yeah, pretty significant transit. Rogue, feeling things will be more on my side coming up. Conjunction in your 5th. Yeah, so what Saturn's going to put you to work having fun and taking risks and probably dating around and enjoying yourself and exploring more creativity. Shh, Bonson, Grammy's working. Hey, Golden Ray. Sun, Uranus, and Venus, and Jupiter. Super conjunction at 28 degrees Taurus in the composite. That sounds fabulous. Venus, Jupiter, absolutely. Sun, Venus, Jupiter, absolutely. It's the addition of Uranus that makes things interesting. Because, oh boy, that's going to fire up real super quick. That's a lot of chemistry that you're looking at. Fortunately, it also indicates a lot of compatibility, but that's something that will likely, well, it's always explored after the chemistry and the feelings, and we have the real questions of do we actually get along come up? Do I have similar beliefs, lifestyles, the trajectory of the future? Do we want the same things? Comes up eventually. And the answer is probably yes to a lot of those questions with that much conjunctionage. But that is going to fire up real quick. Uranus-Venus conjunction, just that, is love at first sight. And it's chemistry at first sight, and love at first sight doesn't mean that there's actual compatibility. We find that out later, but there is definitely attraction. It could turn into legit, grounded, reciprocal love. And it does look like sound like there's a lot of values that are in common there. So I would definitely try to pace yourself. It's got to be incredibly hard to do with what you're describing. But there's a lot to explore there. And it's going to be a lot of fun to do it. Unless there's really hard aspects that are forming to that stellium that you're talking about. That's a lot of appreciation for each other, reciprocal attraction. But when we have so much overwhelming feelings coming up in the beginning, it can be blinding. So keep your eye on the reasons why you want to be in a relationship, because we can lose sight of that when we have so much overwhelming attraction and passion and chemistry, and make sure that you're getting out of the relationship ultimately what it is that you're looking for. Don't get swept away. Oh, Sarah, you have Saturn-Neptune conjunction in Capricorn in your birth chart. So you're likely a young person that was born at the last meeting of those. I'll bet this has been interesting. This is a big adulting week for a lot of you that were born at a time of institutional insolvency starting to show itself. Yeah, now we see what that's all led to. How can I know if the guy that I'm dating now is my lifelong partner? You will have to spend non-sexual time with him to see if there's actual compatibility, appreciation, and mutuality. Do you want the same things? Do you share similar values? Are your lifestyles similar enough? Are your life views, if they're not the same, are they at least compatible or complementary? It's a risk, relationships. It is. It's a terrible, terrible risk, because we may fall in love with somebody that we can't be with. And we may spend time with somebody and realize that, we've got a lot of good things going on here, but I just not feeling it. And we can only know by taking that risk. And we can only know if we can trust somebody by trusting them. So we just have to explore. There's no composite chart, there's no astrologer, there's no psychic that can tell us if it will be the one and only, because that would take that knowing away from our own Yeah, our own responsibility. I would take that choice away in a sense. And it's ultimately our own heart and our own nervous system that we need to be referring to. So astrology can tell us what relationships will be like and the potentials and the pitfalls, but it can't tell us if the relationship will be forever or if it is the only the relationship that will fulfill us. If it could tell us stuff like that, I would make a lot more money. Libra Lilith in the 5th, trine Uranus, but in conjunct the ascendant. So you mean in the natal chart? Is it the natal? So, huh? Yes. Alrighty. So Lilith in Libra in the 5th, trine Uranus, but in conjunct the ascendant. So Lilith in Libra is actually not the most aggressive way of asserting our power or of ensuring our power. We are more prone to suing for self-respect through more cooperative or win-win types of situations or agreements. So it is a diplomatic way of ensuring that our worth will be acknowledged and respected, and we will be treated well. Now, in the 5th, that's the context of where that is happening. It is in the context of romance, passion projects, any risks that you take. That is where you're going to experience that more conciliatory, definitely clenched fist and a velvet glove type of Lilith. And the trine to Uranus actually means that it is in a more agreeable kind of aspect. There's quite a lot of clairvoyance, foresight related to how you will use that power of bitch power. But it is in conjunct to the ascendant. So there's actually quite a healthy way of ensuring that you will be respected in a relationship. We're not going overboard here. We're not getting out the rolling pin. It's very agreeable, really including others, and the knowledge that tomorrow is another day. But that in conjunction to the ascendant, that is representing how Lilith is not readily embodied. It's not showing up in your body language until it does, because that's how in conjunctions work. There is a massive overcompensation that comes in after we achieve a type of failure. We don't balance things properly. So Lilith is either more held back, that part of you that is like, no, but gently, is more repressed or held back until you encounter something that brings up that, like our righteous indignation, that's going to come out really, really strongly. because that's the nature of repression or holding back or spinning our wheels. When the trigger goes off for whatever it is we've been holding back, it comes out with extra force. So we need measure. You need to pay attention to when you are about to go Lilith ballistic, and remind yourself that there has likely been a lack of balance, like you've been too acquiescing, or maybe you've caved. Lilith hasn't been present enough in your countenance, your body language, that part of us that, yeah, ensures that others will take us seriously. And then remind yourself that needs to become part of the "Oh, Julia, you joined the Transits course. Yay, you're gonna love us." We get crazy in there. You have to remind yourself that you need to show up with the body language, with the confidence, with the right to have your needs met, the right to take pleasure, the right to stand up for yourself, the right to get to be on top. When you show up with that, like Lilith would be on the ascendant, and it still has its own consequences. It's not everybody likes somebody who walks in with the 6-inch heels. And I'm not sure if you're male or female, but it's figurative language. But even in a man, we need to embody that right to take up space, the confidence that Lilith makes everybody so nervous with. Kiara, did you have a question? I see your donation. I really appreciate that. It does not hurt my feelings when you guys donate. Oh, here we are. What does the Saturn, Neptune, and Aries 0 degrees in a 7th house composite mean? Also an exact Jupiter return in the composite when it goes direct again. So the Jupiter return is great. That's when we are reinvigorated. It's like a breath of fresh air, or when we pump the bellows into the relationship, and is that what it's called? Bellows? The thing where you see it in old movies. They probably still use it. You pump it and it breathes air onto the fire. That's what the Jupiter return does. It reignites us, or yeah, hope blooms eternal with the Jupiter return. We feel good again. But the other stuff at the same time, the Saturn, Neptune, and Aries in the 7th. So for your relationship, that restructuring, it's like a coming to new agreements, redoing some of the regularities, the like the institutions, the backbone, the bones of the relationship. In this particular relationship, since that's going through the 7th house in the composite, you're both going to be experiencing a long-term structural change in your definition of what relationship is. So that's likely going to bring more of a climate of unconditional love into your lives over the course of that time, because it will be a long-term period of time that Neptune will be there. Saturn is there, bringing a lot of karma to how you have been handling the commitment. And depending on how you have or haven't been doing, it is going to give you a grade on your commitment report card. But both of them being there is talking about making some new agreements that you both must live up to. Julia, if a dude has Mars in Libra, square Uranus and Neptune, and ruler of Mars is Venus in Leo, square Pluto, how difficult is that? Oh, baby, you got your work cut out for you. You're describing a lot of complexity here. I think you just joined the transit course, yeah? You might want to bring this one up in class. Mars in a square to Uranus and Neptune. We don't know if we're coming or going with that kind of square. And sometimes we come and then we go. Literally, my dear. You know what I'm saying. And then Venus. Oh, boy. Also ruling all of that. Hold on, where did that go? Square Pluto. So then we have trust issues. And yeah, that's a high libido, but a lot of complexities, trust issues, problems with a straightforward approach that you'd have to look in the synastry. Sometimes we make connections in the synastry that provide a lot of ease or aid to someone else's hard aspects, and that could be a thing here. And then we'd have to look into the composite and see what it's all adding up to. But it is a more indirect, with Venus and Mars, it's a very indirect. And this is harsh. Weak, that's rough. It's considered a weak Mars, where a guy has to work harder to learn to take responsibility for his own initiative and his anger, his sex drive. It can take them a little bit longer to have an efficient, effective way of engaging in relationships. You're describing somebody that's probably dealing with some hot and cold kind of behavior. Okay. So he's sick on his head. It may not be that severe. Those aren't uncommon alignments to deal with, but it does make it more difficult for a man to deal with the world directly or in an upfront way. When someone has challenges to both Mars and Venus, sometimes we're a bit older before we learn to trust and we learn the proper give and take in relationships. So, and Burrito has got an interesting comment for you, sweetie. I would run fast and hard away from those placements. I was trying to use beautiful language, but I think she interpreted for me. But we don't want to judge somebody just by their chart. Even though somebody has very difficult aspects, we do need to get to know them. We do need to at least extend ourselves, because some people have gotten the best out of their hard aspects. That happens. Usually we're a little bit older, usually through our Saturn square, our mid-30s, before we start really getting the best out of the challenges that we've been giving. But some people really make breakthroughs, significant breakthroughs earlier in life. Some people never do solve their hard aspects. So I think that it's definitely worth giving people an interview or a chance, and exploring to see what they have done with what they've been given. Okay, last question. Hold on, I gotta address this first, Julia, because I'm Mars opposite Pluto and Sun trine Pluto. I guess I'll crush him. Yeah, actually, you would probably win if it comes right down to it. You are definitely direct with that. Okay, I love your videos. Thank you. What do you think about whole sign versus Placidus? There is no correct system to use. Most people are very committed to their particular system and convinced that it is the right system, but there is no one right or best system, and there's no consensus among astrologers which one we should be using. They all measure different things and for different reasons. So whole sign is a fine system to use. It does definitely make it easy for us to learn the chart. Placidus is also a fine system to use, but it is a system that is a time-based system. They're measuring different things. Whole sign is measuring space. Placidus is measuring periods of time. I use equal house myself with unequal midheaven, because then I get the best of both worlds in one chart. I have the houses that measure space, and then I have the angles that are measuring time. So we can see when the sun, or the midheaven, when the sun is theoretically there at midday. So it's not worth fighting over. But astrologers that don't understand astrology really dig in and defend their particular house system. And it's a dead giveaway that they don't know what they're talking about. So, all right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow, 6 p.m. Pacific time.